good evening, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year to the Xtra team. Happy New Year to everybody. Fabulous, fabulous stuff. And we're still top of the... Get it, come on. Top of the league. Top of the league, big man. North London is absolutely red. Let's get in there. Come on.
After this.
To Martinelli, there's in the box, Gabriel Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seals it.
Hello. Welcome back to the Arsenal Social Extra of myself and Steve. 2023. We've made it through another year. We're starting another one off. And I think we're in a pretty good place, don't you?
Come on. What's the time? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all of the people out there and those that are coming on and listening to us. 2023. Oh, mate. Come on. I feel so excited. So excited right now. You're going to have to calm down in the dark room.
Me too. Before we get started, there's one thing I just noticed I want to point out to Rich, our leader on this channel. I was on the review show the other night. We had a nice new intro. I don't know if you saw that.
Didn't make it.
What on there? Rich, where's our new intro?
Where's the love?
What's going on?
Where's the love? Yeah.
I don't even know where our banner's gone. Disappeared.
Don't need it. We don't need it. We've got all the people. We've got all the fun. We're just going on whatever. Don't need fancy gimmicks. It's all about what we bring to it, mate. That's what we're talking about.
Props, just the wine.
Yeah, and I've got cider tonight, mate.
I'm on the bit of Pinot Grigio to kick off the year. Believe it or not, Steve, it's been a long while. You know, bad joke. I haven't had any wine since last year, so I'm due some. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, mate, absence makes the heart grow fonder, as they say, does it not?
Exactly. But anyway, we've made the turn of the year. Arsenal are still top. There's no place we'd rather be.
No.
It's a coin of phrase. I mean, I don't know where to start. We could look back. I think probably the place to start would be the Newcastle game, seeing as that was our most recent game. Would you agree?
Yeah, mate. I love to talk about it because there's a few things. I think. Well, there's a couple of things going on off the field. Obviously, with transfers that are going on, there's a few things that happened on the field. I think for me, it's one of the standout things is Newcastle have to be one of the best teams in the league. Right, there's no two ways about it. Right, when I look at the way they set up and I look at the way they played, absolutely. I was there. Was an amazing game. Almiron, who obviously everybody's been sort of talking about him, non-existent in the game.
Was he?
Absolutely, Zinchenko. Absolutely played him off the park. Absolutely played him off the park.
Zinchenko had one of his best games for us, actually.
Yeah.
Which is not really being talked about much. But I thought he had an absolutely outstanding game.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like Zinchenko, the play, it was interesting what Newcastle did, right? So other than roll around, like Joe Linton, I'm sorry, behave yourself. Grow up, you child. You absolute child. Seriously. We'll get. I really want to get into the ref. I'd love to get into him actually with a left and right. To be honest with you, but Joe Linton spent the whole game just rolling around. He'd do a mad sprint, roll around, mad sprint, roll around. All of this. I counted 5 Newcastle players at one point were all stretching, and this was within. So I checked on the timer. Joe Linton's first roll around like a big child, and if he's got anything to say about it, you're welcome on anytime you want, mate. Anytime you want, come on, Joe Linton. But you are nothing more than a big girl's blouse. Seriously, you're nothing more than a big girl's blouse because he was just rolling around, hanging onto his leg, pretending that he was having problems, the whole lot. If I was the ref, because the ref should have been in a skirt anyway, because he was a total and utter worse. What the ref should have done, if I was in his position, is I would have made him stand on the sideline for about 3 or 4 minutes, because it would have cut all of that out straight away. Interested in hearing the teams of old, we used to do that, blah, 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 blah. Don't really care, right? At the end of the day, it's a top game at the Emirates. I think we played absolutely brilliant. Saka tore them a new one. over and over and over again. The soft red card, the soft yellow card for Nketiah on that just turn the atmosphere at the Emirates toxic. If I'm honest with you, it turned it absolutely toxic because at that point, the whole thing, because there was cards coming out left, right, and centre, and it was just,
it was like that World Cup game, Holland Argentina, weren't it? It was like, what's going on? It was getting ridiculous for a while.
Another ref, like Tierney did against the Man City game, that wanted to make himself the Billy Big Kahunas, and couldn't. And it just made it all about him and didn't make it about the team. And I felt a little bit robbed with the shirt pull on Gabriel. Having looked back, because I was so angry at the time, in fairness, I was absolutely losing it. Having looked back at the handball, I think that would have been a soft penalty. I got to put my hand up and say it was going to be a soft penalty.
I think the handball was. I think the shirt pull, we had more of a shout.
100%.
I think I kind of agree with the handball. There's not much he could have done with that. He was in a natural position as well. I always say about the arm being, natural.
Yeah.
But where else could it have been? So I'm okay with that one. I was okay, but the shirt pull for me was pretty obvious.
100%. Got to give respect to Newcastle as well.
Yeah.
Respect to Newcastle. Brilliant team. Their defence was.
This is one of the things that's winding me up a little bit because there's been quite a lot of negativity after the game about Arsenal. But I say no one, a lot of people are not pointing out how good Newcastle actually were. They come there to stifle us and try and get us on the break. Their defence is about as good as I've seen come to the Emirates in many a year, especially the two, Fabian Schär and Sven Botman, central defenders. They're superb.
Yeah.
Like they're well marshalled. They cover well. What they do well is they drop off the strikers, which gives Eddie no room to kind of turn. People were blaming Eddie for not kind of turning them. They weren't giving him a chance. They were standing off him 5 yards. And as soon as he got the ball, they were on him.
Yeah.
And that's good defending. You can't, Eddie in the end got round them once and Pope made a really good save. That was his chance kind of thing. But for me, I thought Newcastle were well drilled, well set up. And I think they deserve a lot of praise. Rather than, downbeating us, why don't we praise another team for sometimes?
Look, at the end of the day, they're the best, one of the best defences in the Premier League right now, bar none. So they're going to check the statistics. So all of those guys out on Twitter, and girls as well, that are talking about Newcastle in this negative way. Very, very good team. What frightens me with Newcastle, and the one thing I say is, when they get a decent striker, one who can actually kick a ball straight, then they're winning a Prem. They're winning a Prem.
They brought that Isaac and he got injured, didn't he? So I think that if they can get him back to full fitness and get him, scoring, then I think
they bring a worldie, like a world-class striker who's cut his teeth, that knows what he's doing. Then honestly, there's a lot of teams in the Premiership. But to give to that, the flip to that is, from positive, is our defence held quite strong. There wasn't really, Ramsdale really didn't have that many. It was 2 or 3 goals, and I have to say, the majority of the play was for us. We were very, very horrible. And one of the things, and again, I'm not the biggest fan of Eddie, but Eddie's been very good in the last few games. But what I found with Eddie is he's placing. So they were putting 3 players on Martinelli. So Martinelli's having a really hard time. Xhaka, and it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see the just how important he is to our team, because he looked slow. His passing was off.
He looks a bit jaded.
It wasn't like the Xhaka that we're used to. Whether it was the conditions, because mate, it was absolutely bucketing down. And it was the pitch was almost waterlogged. I have to say, I would not want to have been a midfielder in that. But they put 3 players on Martinelli, and they tried to do that with this is where Joe Linton started with all of his rolling around nonsense, because he couldn't quite handle Bukayo Saka. I mean, Bukayo Saka is so much better than Joe Linton. I'm sorry, Joe Linton, you are going to get it all podcast today. He's really wound me up for his poop housery. Because obviously I don't want to get the place. But what was happening was Bukayo Saka, an Arsenal player, grown through our, has gone through our Hale End, and Arsenal through and through, was skinning him alive, actually skinning him alive. Joe Willett was all over him as well. I can't remember the defender on the left out there, the big guy. That's it. Yeah, Denver could not handle Bukayo Saka. It's just the next level. So Joe Linton, maybe you want to go back and watch the videos rather than roll around on the floor. Is what I'm going to say. But the one thing I will say with it was that Eddie's placing was just a little bit behind at all times. Like the balls were coming in, he was a little bit behind, or that final sort of 5-6 yards, he couldn't really place himself. And I think that is going to be our downfall, if I'm honest with you. That's going to be absolutely our downfall. We need to get somebody that can act as backup for Xhaka, because he's taking a lot of the load. I mean, again, Odegaard was really good, but didn't have his shooting boots on today, and Eddie wasn't quite there actually when the stuff was coming in.
I agree. So there's another thing what kind of wound me up a little bit as well. Is like some of the, I think it was Gary Neville or one of them wound me up after. It was the next day. It was someone on the radio, and they said top teams. I wrote this down at the time. It said top teams break down stubborn defenses. That was kind of like the thing. So they were kind of on the lines of, we can't call Arsenal a top team yet because they can't break down stubborn defenses. One, that's not wrong. Nothing wrong with stubborn defenses. Like titles are built on stubborn defenses, on good defenses. But then I look back at Man City last year. So Man City finished on 99 points last season. Okay, they got 99 points. They drew 0-0 at home to Southampton.
Yeah,
and they also drew at Southampton away. And Southampton weren't really the meanest defence that we know about. They also lost away to Palace and drew 0-0 at Selhurst Park. So they only actually failed to score City in 4 games last year. Okay, this is the first game this season we've failed to score. So I think people need to kind of put it in a bit of perspective, including these so-called expert pundits. Like, by all means, pick us up, but let's not forget what the top team last year did and how much you were praising them. And that's what really winds me up, because there's still that media agenda against us. And I think we'll talk about another thing around it later on. But that thing still gets to me. It's like, let it go. Do you know what I mean? Let it go. It's like, come on.
When I see stuff like that, there's the whole, there's the whole worshipping at the altar of Harry Kane, who is a world-class striker. No two ways about it. World-class striker, has done absolutely brilliant, has done really, really well, doing all of the great things that Harry Kane does as a striker, but has won absolutely, nothing. There's a man who's going to finish his career with nothing.
Yeah.
And the trajectory that team's on, they're going to win nothing. So again, like the whole part of it, do we see someone like Gary Neville, who, let's face it, he's a moron, at the best of times, he's a moron. The guy's an idiot. Like, at the end of the day, he's not the brightest tool. He's not the sharpest tool in the box, or a few prawns short of a paella, if we want to make it continental. You're always going to get these morons that sort of have an opinion, that absolutely believe that what they say is right. Just because he played football does not make him, the ultimate, the ultimate source. And one thing I will say is, actually, rest in peace, Pele.
Yeah.
There was a hero. Now, if Pele had turned around and said, this Arsenal team are a bit crap, then I'd take that, and I would be, I'd be working with it. But Gary Neville, moron. Gary Neville, the guy who sold his soul to the Qataris, taking that money, he's happy with that. So mate, I understand. And one thing let me give you an alternate view to that. The one thing I particularly like about these pundits going at us 10 to the dozen, enough unify us as fans.
Yeah, he does. Well, it does for mostly. Yeah, I agree with that. But there's still certain people out there who just jump on it and run with it, as we know. But I do think it's back to that siege mentality, like George Graham used to have, us against them. It does create that, and I think it does create that within, like I say, the fan base definitely, and also within the team itself. The players will see what's going on, and they'll want to prove that wrong. So that, in that respect, can be a real positive. I think it really can be. People are against it. They've always been against us. Always.
I took a friend of mine, actually, who is a Villa fan, of all things. It wasn't Sean. It was a friend of mine, another friend, Man Villa fan, and he was sitting in there. You talk about that, and it's interesting, that siege mentality, and our wonderful fans were going. It was, the atmosphere was mental. It's absolutely mental. And he said, "Is it always like this here?"
Yeah.
I said, "Mate, yeah, this is it. This is what we bring. This is what the Arsenal fans, when we're all together, this is exactly what we bring to the table."
While we're talking about fans, while we're talking, I want to talk about these guys again. Like, just quickly, when we talk about fans, like, I love these guys. I mean, like, you, obviously, I wasn't at the West Ham game, but you kindly shared the video that you saw of these guys. Yeah. I love that. Absolutely love that. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. But then you still get twats like this who put things like this. Someone please tell the Ashburton Army they aren't Red Star Belgrade playing partisan. They're a load of middle-class people from North London paying £70 a ticket to watch their team. Now, needless to say, this guy got a lot of abuse in return for that. But this is but looking through it, this is a view of a lot of other fans. Now, part of me thinks this is a bit of jealousy, you know, because these guys are doing great stuff. Like they're not they're not solely for it, because the team are bringing a lot to the show as well, making the fans feel that way. But they've definitely helped over the past year. These guys, these young lads who are making things a bit better, and it's great to see that kind of stuff.
Well, what was interesting? They start at the Egret pub, which is on the Seven Sisters Road. And I walked past there. And when they started, I was walking with them. Like, I wasn't in there. I'm too old for that, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, they must be looking at you thinking, what are you doing here?
Yeah, who's the old guy? Quick, yeah, everyone slow down. Old man. Yeah, so I was walking along with them, right? And I was sitting there thinking, and I did have this, I've got to say, you know, in my life, I've actually been in the middle of two real riots, actual riots, where riot police have gone in, and I won't say what I was doing. I'll tell you that another day. But I was in the middle of it, right? And I'm sitting there thinking that actually, you know, it was a little bit relaxed. It was a bit calm. There was a guy that was leading it with the drum was very interesting, because there was another older guy with a mic. But there's a guy as old as I am with this mic thing, driving them along. You know, bullhorn, just driving them along. They stopped under the bridge, and I've got to say, respect to the police, right? I've got respect to the police there, because I know, you know, I always give them a bit of stick, but respect to them. What they did is they did turn up en masse, but they kept their distance, right? And she kept their distance. They kept an eye on what was going on. There's plenty of police around them all the way through. That's what I didn't show in the video, right? And just let them get on with it. And do you know what, mate? You're absolutely right, because everybody was going mental. All the fans were picking up. They were picking up the vibe, the whole lot. They were going through it. And then they took the drummer guy went into the actual at the West Ham game. Went into that. He was playing along all the way through, and the Ashburton Army were doing what they do. So you know, whether I don't really care if they're middle class, if they're the royal family.
Exactly. What does it matter? What does it matter, really? Really, what does it matter?
Who cares? Who cares where they're from? I don't care if they're working class, middle class, upper class. You know, thrown out of class. I don't care.
And the thing is, what I think people got to realise about this, because I follow them a lot now. All the stuff they do is self-driven. They've got no sponsors. Like everything they do, they ask for contributions, but a lot of them are just doing it themselves through contacts, through people they know, making the banners, coming together, having these meetings off their own backs. Like, you know, they're asking for volunteers to help them. It's great. I think it's really, really good. But I think one thing we need to remember, though, is whether you remember or not, Arsenal got a history with ultras. Okay, and I've got a picture of some of our old school ultras. You know, that. You know, just remember, this is where this was the Ashburton Army's parents back in the 70s. Okay, so it's not new to us, people. It's not new. No one used to ever go then about us, you know, middle class, you know, stuff like that. You know, different woman. That was a way to Reading in the 70s, by the way. That one.
It's the red boots. It's the red boots that make it. But look, you know, at the end of the day, as long as the guys keep looking after, because ultimately there are a lot of kids now that are going. It's brilliant to see. There's all the young kids are coming through. They're going to the stadium. It's absolutely awesome. I think it's a great bit. It's kind of just put a great.
There we go.
Actually, yeah, I got to agree with that. The atmosphere at this place. I said, my friend turned around and said, "Oh my God, is it like this all the time?" Like I said, mate, this is, you know, and then when the idiot of, I mean, what a total Gary Neville, that ref was. You know, he went totally Neville on it, made it about himself. And the anger started. He was like, my friend was like, "Oh my God, I can understand why now. I can see it. I can see why they're doing so well. I can see what it brings." You know, and Arteta, and we'll talk about Arteta in a sec, actually, because I'm seeing a lot of nonsense. Like, I've got my views on it. I know Richard's got his views on it. I'd like to see what you think. But Arteta was going to the fans, going, come on, let's get it out. And it was just a cacophony of sound that was in there. And it was just fabulous to be part of that journey.
We're talking about the Arteta bit towards the end when he was flapping a bit, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the bit you're into.
Yeah. Towards it. He turned to everybody. I see it, and he was going to the fans. He's like, "Come on, make it."
Richard Keys had some problems with that one. I tell you, Richard Keys had some massive problems with that.
Richard. Like again, I tweeted back to Richard Keys, inconsequential, pointless, hairy hand man. Like, you know. So, but go on, what has Dickie Keys got to say?
Well, I haven't actually got it to show you, but he went along the lines of, "Isn't it about time someone actually done this? Arteta does this all the time. Isn't it about time someone done him for it and that?" But the thing that bugs me is, like, managers do this week in, week out. They do. I'm sorry, like, we've been to enough games to see that most managers do that. Whether it's Arteta, whether it was Arsene Wenger, Jurgen Klopp, for God's sake, of all managers, he's the most animated I've ever seen in a touchline. Running down to the corner flag, getting the cop rolled up.
Mourinho.
When he does that, it's passion. When Klopp does it, it's passion. When Arteta does it, it's stupidity. And that's the thing that really bugs me. Personally, I'm all for that. I don't care. He was in his technical area, getting excited, he got the fans going. That's the whole point. And I'd much rather a manager be like that than just sitting back and doing nothing. Because what message does that get across to the players and the fans? Nothing.
So I've got a thing, right? I've got a thing, and this is my part, and we're obviously we're going to go on to the Arteta thing, right? I'm Spanish, he's Spanish, right? You know he is, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Gallus crying. Yeah, Gallus crying, you know, and Zinchenko cheerleading. Love it. Yeah. I wish his wife would cheerlead, actually.
Then getting off topic now.
That's me being a dirty old perv. But look, you know, at the end of the day, I love to see Arteta getting up in the faces, especially when you have village idiots, right, that have got a ref in that game. Right, because it was so blatant that the guy didn't have control of what that game was. He didn't have control of anything that was going on. Because again, if he had a pair of man apples, yeah, he would have actually got hold of the likes of Joe Linton, who is Joe Linton, you know, and I would have left it, just thrown him off for a minute or two, let him understand what he's doing. You know, and for me, Arteta showing passion, having a go at the right people, having a go at the ref, and actually highlighting the fact, because it's not until you actually highlight the fact that these guys are idiots or they're not good at their job, of which they get paid a hell of a lot of money. It's about $100,000 a year, yeah. So they get paid £100,000 a year to run around, right? You know, as referees, they should be the best of the best. And that guy that was on there, I can't remember his name. It's just winding me up now.
Madley, wasn't it?
Madley was an idiot. He's more Richard Madeley than he is Madley. Just get off. He had no place to be there, because this was so important. It's to two of the best teams in the Premiership right now, right? And you've got a simpleton that's actually going in there that can't do the basics. They can't do the basics of refereeing.
I think BX Gunners made a really good point at the end here. Also, most pundits were our rivals, and I think that's got a big thing to do with it. A lot of the pundits who talk trash about us are the people who were Jamie O'Hara, for instance, Spurs, Gary Neville. You know, a lot of the ones who do talk are our ex-rivals, whereas some of the more sensible ones, you know, have never really had that kind of. I mean, one of the most sensible pundits out there, I know what I'd say, is Darren Bent. Darren Bent's a big Arsenal fan, even though he played for Spurs. He's a self-confessed Arsenal fan, but you can tell he's an Arsenal fan, but he does say things on a very even keel. You know, he doesn't slate other teams down at all. And I quite like that. But you're right in what you say there, BX Gunner. I think it's a massive point there that most pundits were our rivals, and they just can't get around that. They can't be professional enough to get around that. And like you said, 20 years ago, most of them were the ones who played against us. 15, 20 years ago, they just can't get beyond that fact.
And we're beaten. The thing is, we beat them most of the time. You know,
Then that's the problem.
and say Gary Neville, was one of our bitter. He's part of that team. They're bitter rivals. You know that. We beat them. They beat us. They did whatever. You can go through the whole. Ferguson did it. I don't think Wenger did it as much. It was obviously he had a few fights. He had a few fights, but what I remember of Wenger towards the end of his career, he'd kind of sit there and he didn't actually go out so much. I want to see passion. I want to see someone that's kicking every ball that's there. I want to see someone that is going to shout for us. There was one where in Potter, I think it was Potter. It was one of the Newcastle. One of the Newcastle trainers. One of the guys, whatever it was, one of the assistants. Yeah, kicked the ball. It was our throw-in. He kicked the ball onto the pitch. What happened?
No, it was Lascelles, weren't it? Lascelles got booked.
No. Lascelles got booked for stopping the throw-in, standing in front of the. I can't remember who it was who's doing the throwing, but he got booked for that. But one of the assistants actually kicked the ball on into the Newcastle half as we were trying to take a throw in. So and the ref again, did absolutely nothing. Did zero about it. So the guy was the guy. Should have been. No, if you're an official in a game like that where you've lost control of the game anyway, where everybody's on your back, actually sort of deal out a bit of justice, actually start to show and make reparations for the bad thing. Yeah, the fact there should have been a penalty. And if we had a penalty, I'm not saying that we were going to score it, but on the whole game, we were on top of Newcastle, especially the first 25 minutes. And that kind of takes me back to Eddie, and takes me back to the fact that I think we need a striker. I do think we need Jesus back, but that ain't going to happen anytime soon. So we need another striker. I don't think.
Well, I think we're going to talk about our transfer dealing shortly. I want to welcome Loki to the chat, who's come back with a typical Loki comment that I am going to share, but I'm just not going to read it. So, yeah.
Well,
great to have you as always, Loki.
Yeah, mate. Again. You are the lightning rod for my anger. That's it. Loki manages to earth me and bring me down to ground.
I know, I love it. It always brings a smile to my face. Always, when I see Loki's name pop up, I know there's going to be entertainment. I know there's going to be something there that I'm going to smile at. Before we move on, there's one thing that I've noticed on Twitter recently, and this is not just a one-off. It's around our fans, and then obviously there's quite a younger generation of fans now coming through, like we've seen with the Ashburton Army, which is great. There's an interesting one that I saw the other day from a girl called Amy, and she's really good, right? She posts some great stuff. She seems to go to games. Yeah, she goes to games regularly. But she posted, "Oh my God, shut that," with the Tottenham songs. And it kind of went on and on. What they're basically saying is a lot of these fans are sick of Arsenal fans singing anti-Spurs songs when we're not playing Spurs. There's quite a lot of agreement on there. Yeah, it's so boring. So I wanted your opinion on this, because I'm not having a pop at Amy at all here, because she has some really good stuff on there. I find her tweets really interesting. She's obviously very, very passionate. She's got a group of them who goes to the games, which is great. But obviously, it does seem to be like a younger generation of fans who are not really for this anymore. So for me, when I started going to Arsenal, I was 7. We've always sung about Spurs, whether we're playing them or not. When we play against them, it ramps up a bit. But there's always been Spurs song. I've grew up with that, and that's part and parcel of it for me. How do you feel about it? Do you see where they're coming from?
Look, my view is I feel they're relevant to what we are and to what we do. And look, we've got North London Derby next week. And by the way, respect to the the Dallas Gooners. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there in Londoner with the Dallas Gooners and hopefully coming live. So put a big shout out to those guys. See if you can catch them up on Facebook. They've got a really good group and on Twitter. Look, for me, they're irrelevant. They're irrelevant. I love my team. I love Arsenal. I want to sing about Arsenal, all day long. I don't want to sing about Tottenham. Don't care if we hate them. Hate's a strong word. I don't think I hate any Tottenham, fan, to be honest with you. And King Solly's been interesting these last few days as well.
Yeah, he really has. He's not happy at the moment, is he?
I was going to put some comments in today, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a step back.
Me too. I wasn't ready for it, because we could have been here 2 hours.
But look, I think they're relevant to who we are. It's a different Arsenal. It's a different
Do you
concept.
think, though, this is a completely fair thing? And do you think this is now something we're seeing within the fan base who are just kind of don't see Spurs as maybe a... I think one of the problem is the fact that we were ahead of Spurs for so long, let's be honest. And in the past 4 or 5 years, they've come back a little bit. And maybe it's the fact that some of these people haven't really followed Arsenal until the last 5 or 6 years, and they don't understand reason why. I don't know, something beyond it. For me, it's always second nature. I've never really thought much more of it. Never really thought about it because it's just something that's always gone on at games. And it's always something I've been used to. I've just been thinking, am I getting older? Am I missing something? It's like there are a new generation of fans that want something else.
Look, at the end of the day, I just want to sing about our players. I want to sing about our team. I want to scream my lungs out when we score. I want to scream at the ref. I want to talk about Tottenham. I just don't. I genuinely don't. Unless it's the laugh because we won 3-0 again. That's the only
funny. It's also something in regards to a younger generation that I want to talk about, but I'm going to save it for another day because I'd like to get a couple of people on board and talk about it.
Absolutely.
There's a new breed of fan, not Arsenal particularly, but in football, that I'm calling the FIFA generation.
Yes.
Because you must know what I mean by this. Like, these are people who are basing their footballing knowledge on the game FIFA. And it drives me mental. They don't watch games. They don't watch games, but they've got such strong opinions on players because they've got 97 speed in the game, so they must be really fast. That player's rubbish because they're only a 79 rating.
There was one. I know you're not on TikTok.
For a reason, for that kind of stuff.
I know you're on TikTok, but it was one I was going to send over to you. It's brilliant. There was a kid on FIFA that beat Newcastle 66-0 on FIFA, and was saying it was the way he's put over. I was just thinking, oh my god, you just kind of like a brain donor or something here, guy. Because like he was sort of saying, well, yeah, this is what we should have done. This is what Arteta should have done because I beat Newcastle 66-0 on a computer game. So I know what you mean.
I could talk about this subject for a lot, but I'd rather get someone in who is like that and have a conversation because again, I'm missing something. So I want to maybe save that for another time. So let's park that for now. If there's anyone who knows anyone who they would class as a FIFA generation fan, I'd love to get on board because again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I'd like to see their views on it and go from there, really. So,
see what they do in foot champs. That's what we need to do.
Oh, that one too. So we've got a few in the chat. Beck's going to come back as well. Always seems to have players in our books, but not available. Balogun, yeah, true. Actually, this might be a good time to talk about one of our next topics. Actually, so thank you very much for this. We're going to segue into our loanees because I know that Steve's been looking a little bit into our loanees this week. So. Over to you, my friend.
Well, it's been an interesting one that we see. I did see in the press that we've extended with PSG sniffing around Patino. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I believe that.
Not PSG. Sorry, Barcelona. So we've extended his contract by 2 years. Amazingly gifted kid. I just think he's another Smith Rowe in the making. Aziz is back from Ibiza as well. Austin. Tracy, Tracy, he had a bit of a bad day the other day. It wasn't too good for him, was it?
Every time I see this Norton Cuffley for Rotherham, occasionally I'll put a game on. He always seems to be bossing it on that right-hand side. Like I know Rotherham have dropped down the league a little bit. Whenever I see him play, he looks to be a real talent.
The one that was interesting, did you see, was it Tavares, Nuno?
He got sent off, didn't
he? He got his red card, scored a blinder, and got sent off. And then there was a cool sideshow.
He's crazy, isn't he? Tavares is crazy. He really is.
I can't. I was just seeing a great one come in. So the chicken worshippers. I'm talking about Tottenham. I can't see him coming back. I can't see Tavares coming back. But hey, if it makes us a bit of money,
even Pepe's putting up trees back in France. He's having a great time.
Then the rumours are, from what I hear about Pepe, is he's not, as always, he's not getting on with the rest of the team.
Well, that's a shame.
So he's had
very shocking.
He's had a couple of problems with the team, and
I wonder why. He always seems so outgoing and genial.
Yeah, well, I haven't looked on that Facebook update from him for a while, so
I better check on that, to be honest.
Balogun's been doing exceptionally well. And I think he's coming up onto his he scored again, so he's coming up through that sort of process. Is he Premiership ready? That's the thing you got to ask yourself. I don't think he is.
No, me neither. But again, you don't know until you try. It's one of these things that until you're giving a run. And again, I think you need a run of games, not just 20 minutes here, 15 minutes here. You need a run of games. Like Eddie last year. I know you don't particularly like Eddie, but when he came in the team last year and had that run, he got going again. And I think you do need that.
No, let me look. I'm sure Eddie's a really nice guy, and I'd love to take him for a pint, or he can have a Perrier
I'm
water.
sure he can pay for you. I'm sure.
I will take him out for a pint. Right, I will. I'll take him out for a pint. I just think some of his positional play is less than optimal, which is why I think we need a professional striker. But look, just a quick one. I want to finish off. So our guy's out on loan at the moment. He's coming back is an interesting one because I think he's a very, very good holding midfield player. Right, so something's gone on.
He's been called back, hasn't he, Aziz?
Yes, but he won't get any game time. He's been injured as well.
Hasn't been getting any game time in Ibiza. Strange that. Wonder what he's been up to. All places to go. He must be gutted. Then again, it is winter. He's probably quite happy to get back now.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting because whenever I've seen him play, I thought he's got something, but I don't see him slotting into the team. Maybe in a squad and stuff. But squad, you'll get in the matchday squad. I think definitely.
I think he needs a championship loan is what he needs. I think so. Because look, you look at Xhaka and you look at Partey. They're not the youngest. And by the way, Partey's been playing absolutely Partey at Brighton was just next level. The next level was a player that there was that interception for us for one of our goals.
We'll catch up with that.
I'm just looking at that last one. But I just think he is so good. He's such a great player. But no, we need to have the likes of Aziz and people like that coming through. And again, I'm all in for Tielemans as well because I think he would have done a job that he would be able to give Xhaka some breathing space. I think. I do love Tielemans as a player. He might be a nice guy, but for Eddie, and again, no. Let me just put that up with what we're saying here.
I kind of agree with that. Let's see him see it out that season.
Yeah.
Let's see, because he's doing well, and it's only going to do him better. The more runs he gets, the more goals he scores. His confidence is only going to improve. But it is a case of if he comes back now, whether we can find a space for him, or whether he's going to insist on being a first team elsewhere, and whether that is a mid-table Premier League team or a Championship team or another loan, I don't know. I think you've got to really realistically think he's probably going to go on loan again before he comes in because he has got Jesus, Eddie ahead of him, potentially another striker if that comes in as well. Being realistic, I think that's what we've got to look at. I've always liked the look of him, but I just can't see where he fits in, even in the summer, if we carry on. So.
No, and it's again the other one, and Beatiscad has just reminded me again of the amazing transfer of Aubameyang over to Chelsea.
Just quickly, there's someone in the chat I want to say hello to. So I've got Dave in the chat. Mossy. So Dave, Mossy's a big Arsenal fan. He was also my manager when I used to play football at youth level. So haven't seen him for a long, long while, but it's great to see you in here.
Come on.
Mossy, you're welcome anytime, Mossy. He knows his stuff about football as well. Goes and follows Southend United, our local team as well. So it's really good to see. Our two games, let's see how I agree. I think, get Oxford out of the way. Then we've got, them, Man United, and not too far distant future, we've got City as well. So I think we have got a lot of tough games coming up, and I think we'll be able to tell a lot more about our team after come mid-February, really. But interesting here about signing the Ukrainians. So Modric, that's something that's been going on and on for a while now. What are your views on that?
My view is someone needs to phone those up. I like that. I love that. The chicken worshippers, absolutely brilliant. The KFC of North London.
Just quickly before we move on from that, just very, very quickly, I saw the Tottenham chicken the other day. I think he was hungry over Christmas. There he is. There we go. Sorry, mate, you were saying.
Listen, shit attack Donetsk or whatever it is. They're trying to play hard ball, and listen, my view is the kid might be amazing, right? He might be absolutely, and that actually just what's come up with this. So my view on it is I think Eddie needs to phone these guys up and say, listen, boys, this is it. This is the price. This is what we're going to pay you. We're not going to pay any more. And yes, he's coming into his prime and all that sort of stuff, but he's unproven in Premiership, might be tearing up stumps elsewhere. But again, what we can't have is another Pepe. We can't pay.
He's only played 60 first-team games, 60-odd first-team games in a weak league. I'm not saying he ain't a good player, because from what I'm seeing, he is a good player. But I do think the money they're asking for him is quite extortionate for what he has done so far. Now, he does look good, but again, like you said, until you are like Pepe, you've given like 90-odd million for Pepe, come over in the Premiership, didn't suit him. So it could be completely wrong. Like I mentioned the review show the other day, similar thing with Reyes. Reyes was a bit of a risk. We signed him in January, a bit of an unknown, but he kind of come in and was a catalyst and helped the team move on. So he could be a Reyes, or he could be a Pepe. He could be a Reyes who comes in, hits the ground running, and really kind of helps the team kick on with the momentum, battle for places. Or it's a Pepe and it just doesn't work out. And again, I've got nothing against Pepe at all. It just didn't work out for him. So it's a tough one. Like, how much do you go? Because it seems like Arsenal want him. It seems like he wants us as well. So I mean, Chelsea have now put their all in, but the way they're going about their business under their new owner is an absolute joke. They've seen like the Fernandes with Benfica as well. They're a joke of a club at the moment.
120 million for some striker that they want.
They don't play it, Enzo Fernandez. Like, they're trying to lowball it. Even the Benfica manager come out in a press conference today and had a go at him. They know the price. Now they're trying to unsettle the player. They've accused him of unsettling the player, getting him excited, and they said it's cleared. Like, they only signed him They signed him 6 months ago for £10 million or euros.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to let him go. They put a release clause in there for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what they've said. Like,
that's what it's going to be.
It's an absolute joke.
So, my view is with these people, you've got to phone up and say this is the price. Now, interesting that what's his name? The Portuguese guy out in Carmel. Maybe I've got 101 things going on. I'm back to work tomorrow, so I'm having a bit of a meltdown. What's his name? The Portuguese striker.
Ronaldo.
Sorry?
Ronaldo.
No, not that money grabbing. So
the other one at Benfica, the one who got the hat trick in the World Cup.
No, the one that's over at Madrid, over in Madrid. João Felix.
Oh, Felix, right? Yeah, sorry.
That's not going away. That's not going away at the moment. I thought it would. I honestly thought it would. So my view on Shakhtar Donetsk, if you don't need the money, which is what they've come out and said, and you think he's worth 100 million or whatever you think he's worth, go take Chelsea's money. Go take Chelsea's money. Honestly, when we've posted a 30 million loss, so we've got to. I think we actually need to draw a line in the sand and say this is what we're going to do, and go off and get somebody.
Now, from what I understand, though, from what I've understood from reading a few trusted people who generally get it right, is the amount is not the problem. It's how it's structured that Donetsk have got the issue with. So I think the amount has been fine. They haven't got a problem with that. But they want more of it up front. That's the problem. They want more of it at the front end rather than Arsenal want to spread it out. And most transfers nowadays are spread out to do with fiscal years, etc., etc. But they want more on the front because, I mean, you can understand why. To do with their country recently, their income's low. They've not been able to play games in front of fans, and you understand that why. But it is also an international market. So I do think that we will kind of get to an agreement because it's clear that he wants us. Chelsea can outbid us in theory, but it's clear that the player wants us. Do you know what I mean? And why wouldn't he currently? We're top of the league. Chelsea are 10th. Chelsea are struggling. Why wouldn't he want us? I mean, I just think it's going to happen. I mean, you must have seen the stuff that he's been getting the Arsenal fans excited for. I follow the transfer stuff. So this was during the West Ham game. So he posted this on his Instagram, got everyone literally peeing in their pants. Picture of him watching Arsenal, which was great. And then you love our fans, like they spot everything. This one come up. Is Mudrick in the UK? It looks as though he's in a hotel with hotel slippers. The weight bench is Kettler, which is a UK company.
Yeah.
You saw that one. I love these kind of people. This is where Arsenal have got like the CIA of fans, like literally, that nothing gets past them. But it's the pictures I love. So like, zoomed in a little bit. So it could be any gym really. It looks more like a house rather than an actual hotel to me. But there you go. The slippers crack me up. They're just plain slippers.
They're hotel ones though. They are
hotel ones, but he could have got them from a hotel and using them. You never know.
Are you saying that he's stealing shit from a hotel? Oh, sorry, my apologies.
They give them away. Come on. And they're like just the Kettler, obviously fine, yeah, great. And obviously just
yeah, I saw that. Didn't we follow somebody's car and actually did a DVLA lookup on? Yeah. Was it Saliba's car or whatever it was?
Gabriel, wasn't it, when he signed? It's absolutely ridiculous. But even the funnier bits were like now. This one come up today. I don't know if you see this. Someone put free Mudrich on. It was on Instagram. And Mudrich, and he liked it, and everyone just went crazy. So like free Mudrich liked it. Twitter just went absolutely mental with that. Arsenal fans, and the last one's an Arsenal fan thought he'd take it into his own hands. Yeah, this guy. Do not go to Chelsea, bro. Their owner funded money towards the war against your people. Like just taking it into his own. Gone straight into this guy, and it's actually it is his proper Instagram account. Which I'm sure he's shut down his DMs since then, because I'm sure he's getting loads of people like this. But like, I
did invite him on our podcast, but he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to go. So look, actually, David's just made a good point there. Actually, so apparently, again, reading across 3 or 4 sources at this moment in time. Apparently,
Zinchenko's the national captain. He's the captain.
Zinchenko's wife has interviewed him a few times now, so they're good mates. So Zinchenko's going to be calling him and talking to him.
Oh, definitely,
and getting him to come over. So you just know that. You know that's the case.
I agree. Like, yeah, look, internet, a brilliant internet class. I think it's going to happen. I think everything is in our favour. He wants to come to us. It was one of these. What annoys me though is I wanted to get this one done early, and now it seems like it's going to drag on a bit. It's going to drag on, and that's the thing. What annoys me the most is it probably could have got done early had Chelsea not gotten involved, and now Donetsk knows someone else is possibly involved. They're holding out a little bit more, whereas we've got games coming thick and fast. We need the squad now, and I know he wouldn't be playing straight away, but he could be in the squad straight away. Do you know what I mean?
I would be saying to them, guys, this is your chance. Right, either get him now or else we're walking out the door. Yeah, either sign this up or we're walking out the door, because you could go get Tielemans easy, right? Again, Zaha was the other one that's been said, but Neves actually would be a good buy as well.
Well, I think the Neves one, we've been linked with him in the past few windows, and I've always quite liked him. I mean, people don't see him as the most dynamic, but that's not the job he brings to the team. That's
he could do a Xhaka role. He could do a Xhaka role.
So, I mean, for me, I think that would have made sense. He's the right age, Premier League experience. He can, he's good passer of the ball. I think that still makes sense to me. I agree. I completely agree. I still think that Tielemans is the one that we're waiting for in the summer. Yeah. But whether that gets pushed forward now because of the position we're in, I don't know. But I also think the Mudrich one is obviously our priority. So the quicker we get that across the line, the quicker we could potentially go after someone else. Yeah. Because until we know the financials for that one, it's hard to know what you've got left, etc., for another one.
How do you feel about Cedric going over to Fulham? Because that's
I'm all right with that, to be honest. I mean, I've got nothing really against Cedric, but I do think he's never let himself down for us, but he's never going to get in the team ahead of Ben White, Tomiyasu, that kind of stuff, And a good luck to him. He needs to play football. He's, alongside of 30 now, needs to play football. I think it'd be a good move for him. Again, I don't think he's ever let us down. Never really had a good run of, never had that many run of games. But I've got nothing against him. And like players like that, he's never moaned, never caused a fuss. Good luck to him. Yeah, good luck to him. I don't have any ill feelings towards him. Again, I think, do we need him now? Ben White's cemented that right back. Tommy Asu's there as a backup or plays whenever he needs to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. We can let him go. But like I said, I don't think many will go this window because I think we need to keep the squad.
Yeah.
The squad's not that deep anyway. You can see from some of our benches the past couple of games. So I think it's important that we keep it and add to it rather than reduce it. But if there are positions we can lose players, it probably is in right back. So
I would, yeah, because I found it a bit odd because what I would have done, as I would have taken Xtra off actually, as I was talking to as we all know, we're all managers. I would have taken Xtra off against that game, brought the Zinchenko into the midfield, and then brought Tierney on to cover his space. It was interesting watching Joe Linton getting a beating off Tommy Asu. He absolutely was being beaten up by Tommy Asu. I love that guy. I wish Tommy, there was a better place that Tommy was playing more regular. I really do.
Again, Tommy, I like because he's a proper professional. He don't kick up a fuss when he doesn't play. He's a proper team player. He'll play right back. He'll play left back wherever he needs. I mean, I think he was just had he have been fit at the beginning of the season, I'm sure he would have started at right back instead of Ben White at the beginning of the season. I'm sure of it. But you can't drop Ben White because he's been playing so well. So I've not really got any major issues with that at all, to be quite honest with you. So there's a few more little comments in here that we'll follow up on. Yeah, it's going to say if he was serious putting a request. Yeah, we've had that one already. Sorry, but I agree. This now will show us how serious the Cronkies want success. It's in their hands. I agree.
For sure.
Completely. And again, this is a really good comment. I feel the Cronkies have trophy fever. They want it. Yeah, they won the Super Bowl last year. Like we said, like before last year, they'd never really had successful teams. They've had good teams that run themselves well, but they went for the Super Bowl. They wanted it. I follow American football, and they kind of took 3 or 4 years getting this team together at the right time and bought the right players and traded the right way to get that Super Bowl. Yeah. The Rams have fallen off this year completely. They're not even going to get in the playoffs. But they got what they wanted when they wanted it because the Super Bowl was going to be at their new stadium. They wanted that team to win it. So they knew what they were doing then. So, yeah, I think that they probably are looking for it more. And probably they didn't expect it. But, even Stan's been at the game this year, more so than he has. So,
wow, Wenger was there as well. Arsenal was there.
You mean this fella here? There he is. I was going to talk about him.
Bless him.
That was nice, wasn't it? It was about time. It's about time that he was there. And it was good to see him and good to see the fans as well.
Fans at man. Oh, look, they've got Harry Potter there at the front.
There he is.
It's like Harry Potter. Just
I hadn't noticed that. That's fantastic.
Just the other one actually, and to all West Ham fans, our condolences on losing David Gold as well.
Yeah, definitely.
He put a lot of money into that team, and like him or hate him or whatever, he was still philanthropic with his money and was a great West Ham fan. So yeah, it was a real shame. There's also it's always a shame when these sort of characters pass away.
Very sad. I agree. Completely agree with that. It's never nice to see, someone in the football community die. Loki, yes, seeing Mr. Wenger made my day. I think it made a lot of people's days, Loki, to be honest. Yeah. It made mine. I do think it's been too long since he's been away. And let's hope it's not like a once-off. Let's get him there more regularly. And I think the players seem to appreciate it as well. A lot of the players had never actually met him, had come in since he'd left and that. But, a lot of players who had come through the ranks, like Saka and that, completely idolised him and that. And there was some lovely pictures after.
The negativity's gone around, the end. I think he stayed on one season too long and all that. Yeah, we can go over that another day. But I think negativity's gone. The love from the fans was just was there. You could see it. And I think, for him, it must have been very difficult to go back, but also amazing for him as well.
I agree.
And respect to Arteta, by the way, for coming out and mentioning him and going on and sort of crediting Arsene for being there. So Mr. Wenger, anytime you want to come on the podcast, mate, don't be taking it over. You can't go for a long time, but you're welcome to come on for 5-10. Give us your view.
Yeah, we'll make space. We'll give you a slot. We'll let you discuss what you want to discuss.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that, but yeah, he's welcome on any time.
You notice though, I'm probably going to give some mad person an idea, but Arsene Wenger hasn't got a Twitter profile or a Facebook profile. Just going to give some crazy people some ideas now. I'm sure he will have next week.
I don't want to blame him. I don't bloody blame him for the amount of crap he gets.
But it's talking about Facebook. Obviously, I follow the old Facebooks and stuff anyway.
What's been going on? Yeah, Adam, it's been a long time. It's been over a year.
Do you know what? I've been trying to stay away from the Facebook stuff for a while because they were just stupid and winding me up a little bit.
Don't do that.
The Arsenal play. The usual stuff's going on in Arsenal players. Gullible people falling for stuff. But my favourite one at the moment is actually not Arsenal related. My favourite Facebook page is actually Eric Ten Hag, Manchester United. Got himself.
Ten Hag, how's he getting on?
Oh, it's given me a lot of happy. Now I've just pulled out 2 because again it's something I could go out a long way. But again, let's set the scene. These are people who genuinely think this is the manager of Manchester United posting on Facebook. Now it's not him, by the way. He doesn't have a blue tick. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have the time, and I guarantee he wouldn't be commenting like he does. So do you remember the Gakpo signed for Liverpool last week, didn't he? He put this one out. It was brilliant. This is someone thinking it's Eric Ten Hag. Cody Gakpo and Rashford, similar kind of player. We have also Sancho, Garnacho in that position, so we desperately need a goal machine who will number 9. Just sad to see Liverpool has signed him in 6 hours. We've been negotiate for 6 months. No goal, no destination, just fed up. People think this is Ten Hag. People are literally, like, not just a couple, hundreds of comments asking him,
"You're kidding.
Why did you let him go? You should have offered more." Like, the way it's wrote for a start, it's like,
the English is awful.
I know. And like, it is unreal. It is completely unreal. And then he put this other one, which was supposed to be a little bit chirpy, that made me laugh. I just realised that Manchester United have won over 20 EPL titles. I'm coaching a great club. I mean, they've not won 20 Premier League titles, or have they? I don't know how much they've won there. They've won a lot, though. I'm not going to get into how much. But again, people are like jumping on this, saying, how can you not realise when you come to the club? Did you not know our history? People are having a go at him because they didn't know his history. No, he's some 12-year-old in his pants in Africa or somewhere. Like, don't worry about it. But, this is giving me quite a lot of joy at the minute.
I'm going to go find it. I'm going to find that. I'll put it on my get that hook up onto that one as well.
He is brilliant. He is absolutely brilliant. So before I go on to some funnies and stuff, anything else you want to cover tonight, mate? We're nearing the top of the hour.
Mate, I've been a bit irritable. So I've been a bit irritable today, obviously, because of the Newcastle game we should have won. No, not really, mate. I think look, if I take a step back as an Arsenal fan and look at what's actually going on, we've got a great team at this moment in time. And I have said from the beginning, top four's got to be, where we're at. And I think we're in a good position to do that. It's obvious that we're strengthening. Whether it's Mudryk or whoever it happens to be, I don't really care. As long as we strengthen in the right areas, which is going to have to be midfield and striker. That's how I feel. We are moving in the right direction. Our fan base has flipped. I've seen such a massive change in our fan base, the way that we are, the way that we approach it. It's absolutely lovely. And actually going to the Emirates I missed it so much. Yeah. During the World Cup, I just missed being there. And we've had the podcast, and the podcast is my venting sort of thing. But just to be there and to listen and to have that passion and drive. No one sings "We're a Library" anymore.
No, that's true.
I haven't heard that sung for a very long time. But I tell you what, mate, what's going on in the world of Twitterati? Where are we at? What's hot, mate? What's hot right now?
Do you know what? Like, I was gonna talk a lot about one of my Twitter nemesis called the Kind Gooner, who we know about very, very well.
He's
blocked me. But what he doesn't realise is I've got a few different Twitter accounts, so I'm still in the game. I was going to do a massive segment then, but we're having such a nice show that he can wait. He can wait. Yeah. But if anyone wants to see the most obnoxious, clueless, expletive with a T on the end, then please go onto Twitter and put @KindGooner or Gooner till I die. I don't know what he is. If you Google that, he is the most opposite of kind you will ever come across.
Wow.
And he has literally been getting slated the last week or so because he's finally being actually he's been caught for what he actually is. Classes himself as kind and all that, whereas every single one of his tweets is negative. Someone's been calling out every single one of his tweets. Anyway, I'm sure we'll have time for another time, but tonight I don't want to do that. But what I do want to say is something you sent me. There was you sent me the other day. I think it was yourself sent me this. There was a burglary in one of your mates' place, weren't there? Do you remember?
Was it me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Friend's place was robbed. Everything that was important for any value.
yeah.
Yeah. It was you, Sam. I mean, I feel sorry for him, but if anyone has
The
got any
office-
news about this, then please,
The
contact
office got turned over. It was, guys, like, seriously, if anybody knows where my stress balls have gone, where my little slinky has, right, please give me a shout, because these just people today got no respect.
No respect. Terrible. There's a couple of this is one that was quite old, but it's popped back up again. Like I've got a couple of friends who are Everton fans, so I follow some Everton stuff online. This was before, but it's resurfaced. I just love it. Neville Southall. I haven't learned a lot about LGBT community. Everton fans, would it bother you if we had a first player to come out? Not bother me. Mike, be good if one of them came out as a footballer at the moment.
They're going. I have to say, listen. I have to say that I know what's going on at that club.
No, my friends don't either. Like I chat with my mate Chris, who we've had on the show quite regularly. We work together, and I was back with my friend Gary last week, who's an Everton fan. They're just lost. They just don't know what's gone on. They're not blaming the manager, though, to be fair. They're blaming the board for getting it all wrong. I mean, it's the same to see. They've got no money apparently at all. They've got to sell, but they haven't got many assets. That's the problem. But it is a shame to see, because they're a good traditional club, and I've got no real ill feeling towards Everton, even though I'm taking a piss out of them a little bit here. But yeah, it's a shame.
I think the football the Frank's playing is awful. I generally do. Those players, he's lost the dressing room.
Oh yeah, but again, the problem Everton have had is they've chopped and changed his managers, and then another one comes in, they start again. They need to commit to a manager for a period, otherwise it's just going to be the same thing over and over again.
I'm going to put something out, I was talking about this the other day. I'm going to put something out a little bit radical here. I think David Moyes is going to get fired from West Ham, and I think David Moyes will go back to Everton.
I could see that. That's not in the realms of unreality. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think West Ham will twist, because he's done well over a period of time, and one half a season doesn't make you a bad manager. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of teams in that bottom kind of 6 or 7 that are real tight together. I can't remember who it is, but below, I think below Leeds maybe, or even above that, it's like 3 points separate about 6 or 7 teams. It's crazy. There's going to be some funny stuff happening. Now, there was another thing the other night for Wolves the other night. This was bizarre. I don't know what's going on here. This fella, he's got Pele on the side.
What?
I know. I don't know what's going on here. It was
that's a Mexican wrestler's mask.
Yeah, but he's at the Wolves match. There's the Wolves match over Christmas. Got a Wolves little suit on, Mexican wrestler's mask with Pele on the side. I just want to know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, he had a good Christmas. Look at the gloves as well he's wearing. It's really worrying. What kind of party has he been to after?
Mate, let's get him on. If anyone knows who he is, get him on the show to explain it.
I'd love to have 10 minutes in this guy's company.
I'm lost right now, mate. I
couldn't tell you what's going on here. I couldn't. It's one of my favourite pictures of the week, if not the month. I just came across it and I thought, I've got to save that. And I've got nothing around it to talk about. Just this. This is it.
What actually possesses something? Like he's looking at himself in the mirror going, yeah. That's it now. That's it. Come on. I got the wrestler's mask on. Got Pele on the side.
The only thing I can think of is he's got a stadium ban or something. He's got to cover himself up to get back in. Got some sort of like worldwide stadium ban. It's like, right, what can I do? That'll do. I'm a Wolves fan today. Put that on. Write Pele on the side. If you're going to write Pele on the side, that's going to attract attention as well. Do you know what I mean? I mean, of all the ways Pele could be appreciated, I'm not sure that would be the way he'd pick.
Did he look in the mirror and think to himself, yes, sir, I'm not going home alone tonight?
Bizarre. Unfortunately, there is a what's not this week, and unfortunately, it's a running theme. We've got some new range out again. Arsenal, another one. Every week. It's every week. I've even forgot the name of this range, but I know I got it in my inbox. I was like, oh, more again? Like, come on.
Come on, please.
This come out last week. So between Christmas and New Year. It's like, let us get over it, Arsenal. Come on.
Do you remember?
What I don't understand is what happens to all the old stuff that they just discontinue after a week. Where's all that go?
Do you remember, like years ago when we had 4 TV channels and you get the test card thing at the end?
Yeah,
remember that? Like, yeah, that's it right there. That's it. It's like going back to the 70s.
Again, going back in like the 90s and that, you used to arrange, and that was it for the season. Great. You had kits for 2 years, range for the season. There's plenty to go around. If it's not a new range a week now, there's some problems. But there literally can't be enough space in the warehouses wherever it comes from to fit all this stuff in. It is ridiculous. Like, and I'm still going to call it that every single week it happens. So that's the what's not. But the what's hot is Loki just put a great comment in there. We put Sports Direct to shame. We really do. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Adidas didn't start off that bad. It wasn't that prevalent. Like, brought out some good kits. And I think they're thinking, well, I've got good kits now. Let's just rinse everyone for the money they've got. But it does my head in. It really does. But then what's hot this week is for a lovely Arsenal fan, Laura Woods, as you know, a nice Arsenal fan. Not just hot as in her name or who she is, but it was her comeback to this tweet that went. Mick O'Connor put "get back in the kitchen," to which she replied, "Ooh, Mick, nothing screams over small penis more than this old phrase." I thought, well done, Laura. Put that bloke where he needs to be, and she's got the old black kit on there underneath.
Laura,
that, so.
I would happily go in the kitchen and look after you. I just seriously, just make an old man happy. I'd just cook for you. That'd be it. And then go from there. And you're always welcome on the show, Laura, anytime. Like, you can run the show. Like that.
It can be your show, to be fair, Laura. We'll bow down to you.
Laura Social Extra. I love that woman, and she's hot as well. She's definitely hot.
She's definitely hot. Anyone who deserves to be on the What's Hot, it's definitely her.
Yeah, I don't mean to be sexist in any way whatsoever, but she is very, very attractive.
But she knows her Arsenal as well. She knows her football, and she's a very passionate Arsenal fan. And I love it when she gets talking to Jamie O'Hara and talks ball because she gives him what. That's brilliant.
She puts him right in his little box.
Yeah. So that's it. First show of the year.
Mate,
thank you everyone for coming involved. Good chat tonight, people. Good to see some new people in the chat as well. Don't be strangers. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing. We want to get this growing this year.
Loki, David, Bix, Gunner, come on and be a guest. Come on, chat live with us. So that I don't just rant all the time. Adam's the voice of reason. Thank you to everybody that watches our show. Thank you to everybody that contributes to our channel. Oh, mate, I'm gutted. Loki's got a ticket to Oxford. I've been desperately trying to get a ticket. It's up the bloody road for me.
I had a little look for that as well. I did have a little look.
Registered on the Oxford side, so even go in the Oxford end. Honestly, that's disgraceful, Loki. But come on, listen, come on the show. If you've got people, or if you don't want to go on,
Loki, at least come meet me and Steve for a pint before the Man United game.
Yes, come on. I'm going to be
before the Man United game.
Jet lagged to hell. Are we absolutely jet lagged to hell? I'll probably be shot in some Dallas bar because I'm going line dancing. And I will put an Arsenal top on for that, and I'll put that in. But listen, guys, thank you. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for kicking off this new year. I'm really excited for what we have to do. I'm really excited the journey we're going to go on with our team as well, mate. That's really important.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be a special year in more ways than one. So long may that continue. But yeah, as always, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everyone. And I'm sure we will see you again next week. Take it easy.
Absolutely. On the Xtra. North London!